everybody, it's Tracy Capriato and Tom Sciortino from Total Automotive. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. I am in front of the camera. Carm is actually behind the camera. How cool is this? We were here for the Aftermarket Weekly tour with your intern, Jay. Mack was here as well. We did a complete tour of your shop, and then while we were here, we kind of were talking about, you know, Carm and I are loving doing field trips and kind of getting out there and filming, and you actually had the idea. You said, well, how about you come back and change the oil on your car? And I said, I love that idea.
And we're going to take you out into the shop. We're going to have you change your own oil on your own vehicle.
I can't wait. This is going to be really exciting to do, especially for someone like me as an outsider, to learn more about my car. I've actually never been under my car. So my car is a 2019, fairly new. I've never even been under it. So I'm excited to get in there, get my hands dirty, and kind of learn how to do an oil change.
And the best part about it is Jay, our intern, who's been learning how to do oil changes the whole time he's been here, is going to assist you.
I can't wait. This is going to be fun.
Modern steering columns are collapsible, made of an inner and outer sleeve. In a frontal collision, the sleeves compress like a telescope, allowing the steering column to absorb energy from the crash, reducing impact on the driver. Dorman's steering shaft is engineered with strict tolerances to directly replace the original shaft on certain vehicle years, makes, and models. Dorman has rigorously tested their steering shafts to meet Federal Motor Safety Standards through press-out, tensile load, salt spray, on-vehicle fitment testing, and more. These standards specify requirements for minimizing chest and facial injuries through steering systems that yield forward, cushioning the impact on the driver. These systems also limit rearward displacement of the column into the passenger compartment, further reducing the likelihood of serious injury. Hey, want to know more about Dorman? Visit dormanproducts.com/tour.
All right, so what do we do first?
So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set the lift. So Jay's going to assist you to set the lift and show you how to set the lift.
Okay.
All right, so Jay, if you want to go ahead and walk her around and set the lift with it, get it all set up to check the vehicle out.
So what you want to do, you want to make sure you have like the legs on like the inner part of the tire. So
So underneath there's a rocker panel that you're going to set the vehicle lift arms on, and that's the strongest part of the vehicle to put it on this model.
Oh, okay.
have it right there.
Do you ever have to like readjust the car, or for the most part, once it's in, you can move these around?
So if you put, most cars, if you put the front tire on the marker plate, the arms will fit underneath the vehicle correctly.
Okay, cool.
So you can go ahead and set the other side, Tracy.
All right.
All right. So before we put the car up on the lift, we're going to open up the hood. So the hood release is right here in the middle, and it's just a little lever you push over that direction. And there you go. Now on this particular model, oh, you already know.
My dad taught me that. I gotta figure out where
it goes
to put it.
right there.
Okay.
Yep. Perfect. Okay. So Jay, if you want to go through some of the things that we look for underneath the hood.
All right. So the first thing you want to do is check the oil.
Okay.
So and you need to
Get right for it.
put that out.
And that's a dipstick?
Correct.
Yeah.
That's the oil dipstick.
Then you gotta rub it off.
Now I might be light on oil just because I've been nursing this along to be able to do the oil change with you.
Bring that back in. Go back out. Check the oil.
So what are you looking for when you're...
All right, so it's between these lines. So if it's like a little lower on this side, that means that it's low and you need to change the oil.
Okay.
So yeah, and then you check like the color, see if it's like dark. That means that the oil is like is old and you need to change it.
What color would you consider this?
It's pretty good.
Okay.
So far. So it's not dark enough.
Like it would be like black almost, or?
Yeah, it would be a lot darker than this. Yeah.
Okay.
And her level's good, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Now, why would you check how much, if it's up to level, before you actually change the oil?
So a lot of the newer vehicles that come in have oil consumption problems. So as a first step of an oil change, now we've instituted where we check the oil prior to the change. So this way we can make sure that the vehicle doesn't have an oil consumption problem. If it does, then we have recommendations to give to the customer.
So it gives you like a baseline.
Correct, correct. Whether you're using oil in between oil changes. We have a tester, we would check the battery, okay, on every oil change. And this is all stuff that's done on a digital inspection, which we're going to
do a part 2.
Do a part 2 video on a digital inspection because that's a little involved. So we're going to abbreviate things today, and we're just going to go through how we would check everything. So we would check the battery, we would check all the underhood fluids, which is going to be the brake fluid. If it had power steering fluid, we would check that.
Check the coolant.
We would check the coolant, and also in our oil changes, we include filling the washer solvent underneath the hood on the vehicle, which is located right
Is it this?
there. Yes. All right.
Now is this?
That's going to be your overflow for your antifreeze.
Okay.
So that's also going to be checked during the oil change.
Okay.
And we would check not only levels, but we would check condition also and make recommendations. And that's all done on the DVI. Other things that we would check is the air filter, which is located here. This is a sealed transmission, so we would not be able to check the fluid level, so we would recommend on a mileage interval.
Okay. You know, me especially, like I like learning about things, and you know, this is a big investment in my life, and I want to make sure it's, you know, cared for properly. And you know, listening to episodes where we talk about, you know, how brakes are worn down, you know, I don't even know what that looks like, and to actually see that in person is I think very beneficial for the customer to see, okay, this is why this is getting fixed, this is why this is low, this is why this is worn. Being able to visualize that and see that is always a better understanding for a customer.
And from our standpoint, women make 70% of the business decisions related to car repairs. So to be able to be educated in what's going on with your car makes more sense, so you can make those decisions when we're talking on the phone, trying to tell you, you know, the repairs you need on your vehicle.
And I'm glad to learn about, you know, the oil change itself. That's probably such a, don't want to say easy, but that's a regular maintenance that people know about. You have to get your oil changed, and really I'm excited to learn about the why you need your oil changed, you know, why that's so important, what it does to a vehicle, and why it's important to make sure you're scheduling those maintenance. So, you know, like Jay said, if it gets really dark or gets really light, like what ramifications does that have on a vehicle? I think that a lot of customers don't realize that. They just know they have a sticker in the window. That's, you know, what you have to do. But really, if you miss the oil change, like what happens then to your vehicle?
So with oil changes have become more important than ever with the maintenance of the vehicle. We've actually gone away from using the terminology oil change. We use mileage interval services now, maintenance services. So our 5,000 mile service and our 7,500 mile service are maintenance intervals that the car should come back in to see us. By missing those intervals, oil can break down, oil can sludge in the vehicle. It causes some of that contributing factors to the oil consumption problems that are going on. So oil is the lifeblood of the vehicle.
What does it do actually to the engine?
So the oil actually lubricates the internal moving parts of the engine. It also, over time, it picks up contaminants within the oil and breaks down. And when that happens, it can cause damage inside the engine to happen.
Okay. So it keeps it from like friction and...
Correct.
So every time you drive, is it using like a little bit of oil, like each time you drive?
On the newer vehicles, yes. Every time you start the engine, there's a little tiny bit of oil that is actually being used up to lubricate some parts of the engine. And it's over time, if you do not watch the level, that's where you get into problems, where you have engine failure.
Because then if the oil is basically all gone, or
if it's low, then it cannot get to where it needs to get.
And then that puts a lot of stress on an engine.
Correct.
There's a spring button for it to just lift up, and you can just...
Go ahead, you can let her lift it up. So you're going to want to lift it a couple feet off the air, and then we'll check it to make sure it's secure.
Okay. Wow. Is it?
Okay, now stop right there. What you do is you take and move the car a little bit to make sure that it's settled on the lift, all right? And then,
I think it's just on the suspension.
okay. So now you can go up the rest of the way.
How high up do you go?
All the way to the top.
It'll stop?
Yep, you'll hear it.
It was interesting to see the wheels like drop down.
Yep, that's just the suspension settling as it goes up in the air. Okay, you're probably going to want to stop there because you're a little shorter than we are. So if you come under, all right, now, so this is where your oil pan is, right here.
Okay.
Okay, and this is the drain plug that we're going to take out to drain the oil.
Okay.
All right. So if you want to take and bring that over, Jay.
We did take this off so we could let the oil drain. So
Okay.
Here, pretty sure it's on the right direction. Yeah. All right, so you just put this on, and then you just try to like hold it in place right there.
Okay.
And then you just bring it down and break it, and then you just keep on going a little bit.
Lefty loosey?
Lefty loosey, righty tighty.
They're tight.
Jeez.
So it needs some strength to be a technician. There we
did
go.
it.
You did it.
It's nice having a longer wrench too, because
Okay, so now you don't want to take it all the way out yet. All right, we're going to bring this up so that we can catch the oil when it comes out. All right, and we're not going to use the wrench to take it all the way out. We're going to get you a rag. There's a rag. So you're going to want to loosen it up, okay, slowly, and then when you feel like it's getting right to the end, you don't want to take and just pull it out real quickly. You want to kind of let it come out and then take the oil, and the oil's going to shoot out. But you want to get your hand away as fast as possible. Okay.
Okay.
So loosen it up.
So is it going to like squirt out?
It will.
Squirt out.
Yep. And we should be in a good position where it'll all go in the pan.
Is it going to be hot?
It'll be warm. It's not going to be extremely hot because it's been sitting a little while. There you go.
Jesus.
Yep,
All right. So
You can just put that in there.
Yep,
Yep.
and then you can wipe your hand off. Now
Wow.
you
Manicure.
you be
Good thing I have gel nail polish on.
so you
Wow. I was not expecting that at all. That really came out fast.
so as you do more, the quicker you
Yeah.
can get, and you get less on your hands every time you do them.
Eventually, you figure out a technique where your hands will never get dirty.
So you just take and let all the oil drain out at this point. And then once it's all drained out, we can put the plug back in.
Gotcha.
The next step is going to be we're going to take the filter off.
So this, you just fill this and then you empty this.
Yeah, this is our used motor oil containers, which then we actually use in the shop for heat
Oh,
over the winter.
okay.
We burn through waste oil heaters.
How many
Yeah.
oil changes will this be like filled? Like,
So this is like 15 gallons. So this
Okay.
is about maybe 10, 12 oil changes will go in here.
gotcha.
So you try to get as much oil out as possible. So you let it drain for a few minutes. Now on your vehicle, your oil filter is relatively easy to get to. On some vehicles, they're difficult. Yours is actually located right here.
What makes some vehicles more difficult than others?
Where they position them.
Okay. So it's not like a standard, like this is where all the air filters are?
It depends if the motor's mounted facing forward or if it's transverse, mounted sideways like yours. The position of the oil filter changes on all manufacturers. There's also all different size oil filters. We already pre-picked your oil filter number out, but there's all different sizes. So the technicians have to look up what oil filter goes on every vehicle as they come in.
It's really interesting to see tires from this angle. Not from just, the outside.
Once we get done with changing the filter, I'm gonna have Jay walk around the vehicle and show you some of the things that we look at while we're under here.
It's your first experience seeing under a vehicle.
Yes, and I'm excited it's mine. It's my car.
Okay, Tracy, so we can put the oil plug back in now, which is located right there,
Okay.
okay?
So just
So,
screw right in.
yep, you're just gonna put it back in there and screw it back in.
Hey, did you know you were to get dirty today?
Tom did email me and say yes, so I'm like, well, I'm not gonna wear like a dress then.
I said wear dirty clothes and expect to get dirty.
Wipe off like all the oil, extra oil.
Yeah. Great advice, Jay.
So we're gonna tighten it now. Okay. Load this a little bit more.
This way?
So, yep. So you remember how tight it was when you took it off? So you're going to want to probably put about the same amount of force that you had to put on it to get it off.
Does that ratchet all the way? Ratcheting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting to find out. So just gentle pressure on there.
Okay.
All right. Now you feel it kind of taut, right?
Yeah.
It's tight. So now give it just a little bit of a crank over to get it tight and cinch down.
This way?
Yep.
Yep. There you go.
That's it.
That's it.
Is that tight enough?
Yep, that's tight enough.
Take the wrench and I'll trade you for the oil filter pliers.
Okay, so the oil filter is, I'm going to hold the shield out of the way, but it's literally right here.
Okay,
So
this thing?
Yep, so you're going to grab that with the pliers. And the same thing, you're going to go towards me up to release. Okay, so you loosened it already. Okay, that's good. That's all you need the pliers for.
Okay.
So now, let me move this back under.
Is there gonna be oil in here too?
Yep.
Oh boy.
So you're going to get dirty again. So why don't you come around to the front? It's going to be easier if you're in the front. Okay, so if you reach up there and you loosen it slowly, it'll start to spill some of the oil out.
Does this come off then?
Yep. So let a little bit of the oil drain out, and then as you keep loosening it, the oil will continue to come out, and then you're going to have to hold on to the filter. Don't drop it.
Okay.
Because that makes a mess when you drop them.
But take it off?
Yep, just take it off, and then you can place it back into the oil drainer. Okay, just like that. I see you didn't get dirty that time.
No.
Yep, so you can just set it right in there.
I'm
All right, so that is your oil. That is your oil filter.
So what does the filter do? Just
So the filter takes any contaminants, dirts that get into the oil and filters them as they go through the motor.
how would dirt get into the oil? Just from the car?
Just from the combustion process, the carbon builds up in it. Any types of, there is a little bit of wear going in the motor. So anything that wears in the motor goes through the oil system, because the oil collects everything as it goes through the motor, and it goes through the filter before it comes back around and goes back into the motor again. On every filter, there's a rubber gasket. You're going to want to put a little bit of oil on the gasket. So in most cases, you can grab a little bit of oil off of the old filter. Okay, there's some sitting right there. You stick your finger in it and just rub it onto the oil gasket. There you go. All right, so then we're going to take that oil filter, and I'll hold this back aside for you again, and you're going to find the spot that it went, and you're going to screw it back on towards me.
Towards you?
Yep.
It's a lot smaller than I thought. For some reason, I was thinking it was going to be like a coffee filter.
So there's all different sizes. Some of the trucks and some of the older vehicles use a large canister filter. They've reduced the sizes. You tighten it as tight as you can. I'm just going to check it, okay?
Do you require all of your technicians to wear their engagement ring while they do an oil change?
Well, it is kind of, blinding me as she's working, but. So the oil filter's on. Now, the only thing you want to do is, we always like to be clean for the customers and not get any oil in their driveways. So take the rag and just go up there and just wipe around the filter housing, the filter and the frame underneath it where the oil might have hit. And there you go. That's all cleaned up. So this way, customers don't have oil spots in their driveways, and then they call you back and say, hey, we leaked some oil.
So this is from my car?
That's from many cars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's from
But there are
many
like little...
Yep.
Wow.
But that is the filter that you had on your car.
And you change the filter every time you change
Every
oil.
single time. We're done with the oil's out of the car, the filter's changed, so we're done with the oil part of the oil change. We do a digital inspection like we alluded to. I was just going to have Jay quickly show you, we have a tire tool that we use to measure the tires, and I was going to have Jay demonstrate that for you.
Well, this is for the tire pressure first.
Oh, tire
and
pressure.
the sensors inside.
All right, so you make sure you wanna right before you press trigger, you wanna be like lined up right here on the tire. Then you just gotta press trigger.
Wow, does this send like a laser or something like through it, or?
It's just like your Wi-Fi network.
Wow.
It picks up the network of the car.
As you can see, it shows the pressure and just for the left front, and then you gotta go to the right front.
Okay.
You just gotta put it up to the expenditure.
Trigger?
Yep. Then you just move on.
So how would I know, like what would be a good range?
So, you want to be around 35, 30, 36.
So there's a sticker inside the door that gives you the manufacturer's recommended pressures. It's usually a range. They tell you it's 29 or 30 or 32. As long as you're in that range, we typically go anywhere from 30 to 34 is a good spot to be in Western New York in tires. The second part of this, Jay's going to show you, is actually reading the tread depths on the tires. So Nick is holding the tool.
What happens if a tire is overfilled?
The tire pressure is reliant on how a tire is going to wear. So if it's overfilled, you may wear the center of the tire out first.
Okay.
If it's underinflated, you'll wear the outside edges. There's many other factors that can cause tire wear, but that's some of the quick ones.
So you want it as
related
even
to
as
tire
possible, basically.
Yeah, you want to keep them as consistent as possible.
All right, so the first thing you want to do is go on the outside of the tire. Then make sure you're just flat, on a flat surface. And then you just press the button. Make sure your hands or fingers are in the way for the scan, and then it's going to do that. And then you move on to the mid part of the tire. And just do the same thing. And then inside. As you can see, it pops up on this as you do it.
Oh, okay.
You can just press it, yeah.
Do you have any job opening?
I might have to sign her up, put her in the next intern program.
Now, when they're really worn, is it called like bald if they're really worn? Is that the term?
Yeah, so a tire that's bald or worn is not going to pass New York State inspection, and it's also dangerous for hydroplaning or any type of traction.
Oh, wow.
Very smooth.
So would this vehicle need new tires?
It definitely needs new tires. Yes. The tread is no longer doing anything. It's down to the wear bars, and it's basically level with this part right here, the seam in between the tread. That is basically what it would look like when the tires. This is pretty extreme, but even a little bit above that is still considered failing, like a New York State inspection or, basically not being safe.
So if your tires were in bad shape, this would either be yellow or red across to show the wear areas, and it also would show if they're wearing uneven. So we produce a report for every car that we do, and we attach it to the work order so the customer can open up a PDF file and look at the actual report.
Now, if the tires are wearing uneven, is that when you would rotate them?
It could be due to rotation, it could be due to alignment, it could be due to worn suspension parts. So that's all stuff that we would look for on the DVI on our next episode.
What is like a kind of, this tire is getting a little bad, like what number would that be?
We recommend replacement at 430 seconds.
Okay.
Okay, so.
What does that mean, 430?
430 seconds, you've heard of the penny trick where you take a penny. That's one way of doing it. We have tread depth gauges.
Oh, okay.
So this is 30 seconds of an inch. So they go all the way from, 7, 8 where yours are, or higher, all the way down to the yellow and red. So we're at about 5 and 4, and red, is bad. That's when we're failing. So, but it's all measured in 30 seconds of an inch.
So 430 seconds is 430 seconds of an inch.
Yes.
Gotcha. I didn't know if seconds meant like time it takes to stop or something.
See, it's perfect. It's a great question.
It is.
When you rotate the tires, do you change the front and the back?
We go front to back.
Okay.
Yes.
And do you do different, change the side too?
Not unless there's a wear problem that we're trying to straighten out.
You keep them on the same.
Yeah, typically we go front to back on a rotation.
It's like rotating your mattress.
Correct. All right, so we can go ahead and, Jay, I'll take that, and if you want to let the car down, we can go ahead and let it down.
All right, so to let it down, you want to hold this down.
Okay.
Right? And then push this in.
At the same time?
Yeah.
You want to make sure you do that big lever up there first.
Yeah.
So
Pull that all the way down.
All the way.
There you go. Now hold that and then push down the lever, and the car will start to come down.
Is this like a safety to have two different?
Yeah.
So, yep, the one that you're holding in your left hand is the lock.
Okay.
That controls the locks and releasing them, and then that actually lets the pressure down so it'll lower.
All right, so the next step is we need to get some new oil into your car.
Oh.
So the first thing we need to do is find out what type of oil your vehicle takes, and Nick's gonna go ahead and look that up over there.
That's where our work order comes in. What's nice is on our software here, we just go right up to the vehicle information. So it's gonna tell us it's a 19 Rogue, all the information that comes in with it. We're gonna hit these three little dots here, and we're gonna go to service specifications. And then right here, it's gonna tell me, okay, I need 4.9 quarts, and it's gonna tell me I need 0.20 weight oil, okay? So we have 0.20 oil, and Jay, if you wanna grab the right one for it.
All right. And so before you do it, you always want to reset it. So it's just back to 0. All right. Right there. And how many quarts you said?
4.9, so 5 quarts.
All right, so 5 quarts. Make sure you have that inside before you even press the trigger. All right. And then so you can push your hand right there. All right. So there's a lock right here.
Okay.
So you have to push this lock down in order for you to go down on the trigger.
Oh, okay.
So once you do it, you gotta make sure you hold it like very tight, because it's gonna like come back. It's gonna be like a
Like a fire hose?
Yeah, like a little recoil.
Okay, here we go. Nice.
So you're gonna go all the way up to.
I'm excited to use this. You know, I see them in shop tours and, you know, hanging from the ceiling, and obviously this is a lot easier than taking a bottle and dumping it.
Where are we at?
5.084.
Okay, perfect.
All right. So when you're picking it up, you gotta make sure you know you grab it with it. Then you can just twist it back so you can lock it, so you don't see any oil dripping.
Okay.
Pull this back.
You taught him well, Tom.
You know what? He's come a long way since November. He's learned a lot when he's here, and it shows.
So that's where the oil, put it in, but then the dipstick is over here.
Yep. And then what would always be good practice, even though we know we put in the correct amount, it's good practice to always check the oil with the dipstick once you put the oil in. So
All right.
So we're gonna start it first, though.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and start it first.
And just leave it running?
Nope, just start it for about 5 seconds and then shut it off.
Okay.
All right, and then what's that going to do is it's going to fill the oil filter with fresh oil and circulate it just for a second, and then we'll check the level. Okay, you can shut it off now. Okay, now you can go out and check the level and make sure we're right where we need to be.
Did you put mineral in there or synthetic?
Full synthetic oil.
Full synthetic.
So
Perfect.
wipe it off first, right?
wipe it completely off. Yep. And then push it back in and pull it out.
Basically all the way in.
And then,
So now you're going to want to make sure it's
so we're right at the perfect, we're right between the two dots, so we're perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
all right, Tracy. You have completed your first oil change.
Thank you so
not
much.
yet.
Oh,
We forgot the oil sticker.
oh.
That's
yes.
right. We got to go put an oil sticker on, and we have to reset the reminder if you do have a reminder.
Okay.
right.
So how many miles do you recommend?
So the oil change we did today was a full synthetic oil change with 5,000 mile interval.
Okay.
So we're gonna, Nick will take you over, or actually Jay will take you over and show you how to print a sticker out.
Okay.
So your mileage is 41388, so we're going to round up to 41400.
Okay.
And then hit enter. 5,000 miles.
Okay. Enter again.
Yep, and hit enter one more time, and that should be it. And now you have an oil sticker.
So you're gonna take off that one. And go a little bit more up.
Here?
Yeah.
Nice.
Ta-da!
So Tracy, if your car has a oil reminder light, we would reset it at this time. The Nissans usually do, so
Okay.
we would go in and reset the oil reminder also. So this way,
I don't know if I've ever seen that on my.
if you're doing them diligently, you might not ever have it come on, but they may be resetting it without you knowing it.
Okay.
So the biggest thing is that, you know, we want to reset it because if we don't, it may go on in 2,000 miles and
Right.
you're not ready for it. So we want to make sure that the technician always resets it. The advantages to coming to a full service repair shop is you get that whole look at a car. When you go to some of the quick lube places, you drive in one side, you drive out the other side, and you don't get a full overall look at the vehicle. Where here you're actually getting a look at the vehicle.
You're getting a full scope of like the whole entire house.
Correct, and that's the importance of doing those DVIs when we do it, because we're looking at the whole car. We're not just changing oil.
Perfect. I love it. Well, thanks so much, Tom, for letting me come in
Fantastic.
and do this. I learned a lot. I'm really excited that I was able to get my hands on my car, learn about it, what makes it go, what makes it tick, what are some of the warning signs, and then we'll have kind of a part 2 of doing the DVI. And I'm excited to see that because I've never seen a DVI of my car, and I'm a very visual person, so I think I'm going to really like being able to see pictures. And, you know, I think that's really helpful for customers to see, okay, you know, X, Y, and Z doesn't need to be, you know, done right now, but this is what it looks like. And so if you don't take care of it, you know, it could go.
And I think when we do that DVI, we'll find a victim car that needs a whole bunch of stuff. So
a
this
victim
way
car.
you can actually see good and bad and how we actually document a car.
Yeah, I would love that. Well, it was just helpful to see the tread on that other vehicle, the difference that is.
Oh yeah, big difference.
So yeah, I'm really excited. Well, great. Thank you so much, Tom. Thank you, Jay.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me do this, and I can't wait for part 2.